Welcome to episode 5 of the road to schematic perfection. It's time to get a little bit glitchy. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to bomb cover 3 and how we can get a designed quarterback run play out of a playbook that doesn't actually have one. But first, as always, I want to go over a few notes before we get into the main content. I found that there is a bug in this game. It only happens when I play an actual online head-to-head game, so I haven't noticed in practice mode. But you'll see that on option plays, if you want to keep the ball with the quarterback, sometimes he'll actually hand the ball off despite you not actually pressing the handoff button. So if you see this, do not get discouraged. Okay, I think it happens, maybe under 5% of the time. So I think these option plays are so damn good that the odd loss of yards really won't matter. Also, I'll try to see if I can bring this up with the developers, see if they can look into this and possibly fix it. I don't see why not. And the second thing I want to bring up is, if you remember in episode 2, I introduced the play action halfback swing as a great play to get a ton of yards in open field, and also as an effective play in the red zone. But we saw that there were some issues when coming up against particularly compressed defenses, so base of line or 4-6, where the hard flat, if they have hard flats, which they probably will in the red zone, is coming from that outside linebacker that is compressed there, close to the right tackle or the left tackle. And why this gave us issues is that we only had one slot blocker here, so the slot receiver that wasn't able to target him well, and so he could get through. So there are two other formations that I would suggest running it out of instead. So the first one is Y trips offset weak, and the other one is very similar, so Y off trips weak. So they both have the motion halfback swing, but now you got a tight end there right beside the right tackle, ready to make that block of any flats coming from the outside linebacker or whatever. And then you still have the wide receiver who's going to pick up on the cornerback, and then now you have this slot receiver who has who will probably have no one right above him, that will be free to pick up a over aggressive user that's kind of trying to shoot that himself, or if he's bringing down another safety or whatever. So now you have essentially 3 blockers instead of 2. So obviously you want to win in the numbers game. But now if you see that over aggression there, you still have a nice read option here with actually a pulling blocker. So you can then, if half the defense is over there trying to stop that motion swing, well, you can pull it and run left with Bo Jackson, or if you see an opening in the middle, you can just hand it off to Barry or Vic, and they can hopefully walk right into the end zone. So I'd say in the open field, I'd probably stick with the other one, but in the red zone, I'd probably switch to one of these trips formations to run your swing if you're going to run it. Okay, so let's get started with the good stuff then. So if you remember from last episode, I mentioned that cover 3 can be a problem for a triple option offense because you have that 8th man in the box, and you can have, pitch defenders in the box on both sides of the ball, making it tough to run that triple option. And then also, if you remember one of my videos, the game-breaking fade throw, well, that can be nice against cover 3. So we're going to introduce that in this one. I mentioned in that video that you can't do that out of gun formations or pistol, that you can really only do it in single back or under center. And if you notice, we don't have any of those in this playbook. But there are ways that we can still do it. So what we need to look for are routes like in this motion Y cross. So it's like a go route, but it has a a forced outside release that I don't even really know what it's for. It just kind of delays the receiver, but it's effective in this case. So we're gonna run that, and we'll go up against cover 3 sky, go a few yards back. So that's why I got Carmichael here. Okay, so unfortunately I don't think you can pull this off without him, so that's not great. The reason why is because I've run this a lot in practice mode, but no matter what, the ball just the best I can do is like something like a maybe a 10-15% success rate, and most of the time, the ball just goes just outside of the reach of the receiver. But if you have a giant 6'8" like Carmichael, he'll make up for that. Okay, so the adjustments you want to make, first of all, he's going to want to be on the wide side of the field. You want to make sure that he's up against a 91 zone coverage corner, which he is. It's not necessary, but I'd put Barry on a outbreaking route. So instead of this swing, just because that occupies the outside linebacker a bit, so he won't drift underneath Carmichael. So we'll do that, and then the ball placement is pretty much the same as that video. I'm placing it with a forward and outside pass lead. I'm using the high pass modifier, and I'm just tapping circle here. Double tap also works. I think single tap is probably better. And you have to pretty much do it, I would say, almost exactly 5 yards into his route. Okay, I think a little more, the corner is not going to react. A little less, he'll react, but he'll be able to make the play. Okay. So worst case scenario, there's two worst case scenarios. One, you overthrow it. One, he kind of jumps like that, and the corner can, tackle him. So it's still 20 yards or whatever, which is nice, but it doesn't get you that touchdown. Yeah. So this was the other one, overthrow. So we got Bo Jackson, so it is a little trickier. Okay, not bad. Yeah, and a lot of times there is a little animation where he'll get a weird like speed boost or something like that, and he'll just clear that corner and take off. So this is it with a double tap. Yeah, see, that's what I was talking about. So yeah, it's up to you. Take this to the practice field, see if single tap works better for you or if double tap works better for you. But yeah, so it's a way that we can attack that cover three. So it's clearly problematic for our triple option. And a lot of people sit in it all game. That single high and their corners are playing off. So why not bomb them? Okay? And yeah, okay, that was single tap again. I think double tap might be the way to go. But you see why I don't think you should be, embarrassed or ashamed to run this play. I think, sure, it's a glitch in a sense that, this cornerback kind of makes this false step. But if you see, in real football, if you see a quarterback make a perfect fade throw, back shoulder, the receiver makes a great adjustment on the ball, catches it over his shoulder or whatever, you see that's a great play. And I think there's no difference here. You're spending the time, you're practicing this. You need like perfect technique and perfect timing to make this play. So why not reward yourself, right? And the other reason why I don't think it's an issue is because if you remember the swerve, like there wasn't really much you can do against it. You have to be kind of perfect on your user skills or hope your opponent makes, a bad swerve or whatever. In this case, the defense has options. They can, first of all, they can not run this. They can do cover 2 or whatever. Which, by the way, we have an option for that. But they can, man up that cornerback. They can press coverage. They can, even just move him slightly, just to make our timing different. Or, they can, you wouldn't ever want to use that yourself. But anyway. So there are ways to stop it. But if they're not expecting it, they don't know what they're doing. But we do. And we've spent the time. We spent the time learning. We spent the time practicing. Why not give ourselves an advantage, right? So anyway, if you come up across this, do not hesitate. Definitely use this. Go big. Go get your touchdown. Okay, and don't hold back. Okay, that's not what this scheme's for. This scheme's for scoring a lot of points, scoring quickly, and getting through our games quickly, right? We want to score a bunch and have our opponent quit, and then we'll move on to the next one. Okay, so that's that. I will say, against cover 4, I'd kind of stay away because that strong safety can make a play on the ball. Just because the split for this guy is kind of short. See, he's on the yard markers here, so he can get there in time. there is a way that we can also beat cover 3 and cover 4 that are pressed. And I'm still kind of developing that a bit. So maybe I can show that in another video. But right now it's not totally great. But I think this one you can definitely get down. Unfortunately, you have to go get that Carmichael. Maybe you could get away with somebody that's like 6'5". Or like a tight end that's 6'6" or something. But Carmichael's great. Okay. So that's that. So now let's get into the second part of this, and that is the design quarterback run play. So unfortunately, such a great playbook with all these great option plays does not have a play where the quarterback can just keep it for himself and run. So we have to kind of, again, trick the system a little bit. So this one comes courtesy of Gut Fox's video. He made, top 5 or 6 glitches in the game. And then he got that from somebody else. I forget who it was. So you'll have to kind of go into that. But what it is you're going to go into, run plays, counters. So any of these counter trade plays where you have the right guard and the right tackle pulling, or the guard and the tackle pulling. So in this playbook, we have 2 of them. So we have one in gun doubles offset, and we have one in gun wide trips offset. So we'll go in gun doubles offset. I got the right players, and we'll go counter tray, and we'll go up against, I don't know, cover 3 buzz press. Okay, so all you have to do is just flip your run to the opposite side. And then what's going to happen from there is that the quarterback just kind of, glitches out, doesn't hand the ball off, and he just keeps it for himself. And then from there, you can run it left, straight, right, wherever you want to go. So it works something like this. So now you saw exactly there the reason why I don't think there's anything wrong with this. I mean, obviously we want to run it because we want the ball in Bo Jackson's hands. Okay. So what I did was, after I snap the ball, I immediately start holding the direction I want to go and start sprinting that way. Make the truck on McCourty there easy and just run to the end zone. And you'll notice on this, when we're running the triple option, we don't get the full benefit of Bo Jackson because he kind of slows down. His max speed is probably, almost 10 lower because, I don't know, however they made that play work. They just made him not too fast. But for regular read options or scrambles, or in this case, he's running at his actual 94 speed. So why I don't think there's anything wrong with this is, first of all, there should definitely be a play like this where Bo Jackson gets the ball and we can just run with it whichever direction we want. We see Cam Newton, almost every game, he's in shotgun or whatever, he needs a key first down. He'll just take the ball himself. He's a big body, he can run. He'll just go run for that first down. So why can't we, right? Second thing is the defense actually reacts really well. Okay, so if we go straight left or if we go right, they're gonna go and attack Bo. Okay, now sometimes they're gonna get run over, but they're gonna be in the position to make the play. Okay, so we're not dumbing out the defense. We're just giving ourselves another little option. Now, I will say what is a little unfair is that he gets a bit of a speed boost when you start. Oh. Yeah, see, the counter is terrible itself. But he gets a bit of a speed boost. Now, if you want to run right, I probably wouldn't run right because you have the pulling right tackle and the right guard. Unless you want to go inside of Hill, which is an option. Not a great option, but it's an option. The best is usually going left. Something like that. Or going all the way around. In this case, the defensive end is so wide that we don't want to go all the way out there just because he sets that edge really well. So it's gonna depend on what your look is. But what's so awesome about this is that you can make that decision. If you run an inside zone, you don't have too many options. You can kind of go, cut it outside or cut it inside. But in this case, we can go any direction we want. And then if we need to pick up a key third down or key fourth down, you know, fourth and inches, third and inches, simply just run straight. I mean, we don't want to run into our guard or our center, but we run straight. You know, you have that option with the quarterback sneak, but the quarterback sneak sucks, right? Your quarterback just falls right in your face. Sometimes you might get the inches, sometimes you won't. And also you have to be in goal line. Whereas this case you have, you know, actual pass plays off of it. You know, for verticals. I think there's also a read option that we can work into it. And we can choose our direction. Right, so we can get that inches, and then we can, you know, break it big. And then I definitely suggest using this in the red zone. Okay, so if you're using the PA halfback swing, or if you've been using my other red zone trick in the other video I posted, not part of the series, but it is a video I posted that works really well. You can also work this into it, right? I mean, that McCourty is really no good. So if you come up against, you know, Sean Taylor, it's gonna be harder. In which case, you know, I would just juke him. So it's always, this is always a game of what gives you the best chance. So if it's McCourty, run him over. If it's somebody like Sean Taylor, juke him or spin him or whatever. So yeah, that's that, guys. Again, yeah, great edge defender there. Again, don't hold yourself back because you spent the time to learn new plays, you spent the time to practice. Definitely use that, okay? And I think this is such a cool play. Like, this should definitely be in this playbook where, okay, sure, they should make it so he doesn't get such a great boost, but where you just have the option to take it and go whichever direction you want. Get that key third down, get that fourth down with your big body. I wonder if you can just take it and jump. That'd be cool if we could just jump over the pile. That could work too. Okay, so definitely add these two if you haven't already. Like, I think these are, I'm really happy that, you know, I found these. I think that the cover 3 bomb is awesome. You know, making that nice fade throw. I think this is great. Just hiking the ball and running with Bo Jackson. Definitely use these. Go win some more games. And I'll see you in the next one.